A new statue in Times Square we're told, turning heads. It's making people not only stop and stare, but also reflect. A rare feat in the middle of one of the busiest places in the world. Zinnia Maldonado shows us why.
At 12 feet tall, in the middle of Times Square, stands a bronze sculpture of a young woman.
It's instantly stood out. It's powerful.
It's so tall and big.
The sculpture, created by artist Thomas Price, was unveiled at Duffy Square last week, and in just a matter of days, it has stopped hundreds in their tracks. Who is she? Well, technically, she's whoever you want her to be.
Me being a plus-size black woman, I kind of looking at it was just like, oh, I wonder what me as a small child would have thought looking at something like that. Representation.
The piece is part of a series called Grounded in the Stars, which Gene Cooney, director of Times Square Art, says confronts preconceived notions of identity and representation.
To have this work here is making a statement, potentially asking questions about what we value as a city, as a society, and hopefully it's a tribute to our shared humanity.
Tourists.
All right, man, peace. So I've been watching people's opinions about this new exhibition that's supposed to be in Times Square, Grounded in the Stars, which is by Thomas J. Price, a famous British sculpture artist. And he's been well known for a lot of pieces that he had, specifically in London. He had a lot of sculptures of black people, usually of black women, usually everyday black women that's on a cell phone, and pictures of black men as well. And I think there's a lot of brothers who didn't understand that and took it out of context and thought that he's just probably a simp towards black women by putting up a random picture of an American black woman as a sculpture in Times Square. So my opinions on it is, I know the art scene of New York City very well. They have a lot of sculptures around New York that people should check out, not just this controversial figure that's sitting in Times Square right there in the 40s where everybody can see. Now, my thing about it is, at the end of the day, the representation of the black woman is, like he said, is however you want it to be. But for brothers to sit up there and try to have an argument back and forth on social media, I can't tell you what to do, but in my opinion, it's just a laughable gesture because there is no opinion to give on it. If this is supposed to be a representation of a so-called black woman, then it is what it is. Then you shouldn't be triggered about it, especially those that's probably revered in the red pill spaces about, ha ha ha, this is what the black man thinks of the black woman. It is what it is. So my thing about it is, the only problem that I had with the sculpture piece was the fact of the matter that this was supposed to be revered as the modern day David, which is two separate things. I'm not saying that he didn't add any material, some specifics, materials, or specific pieces that you needed to pay attention in this art piece, but there was a reason why the guy who did the sculpture for David did what he did and why it was specific to whatever theme he was trying to achieve versus Grounded in the Stars. Now, the thing about it is, with this art piece, it screams modernity. And with that being said, it's just, what else can you make of it? A random oversized black woman standing in Times Square. But again, my only critique of this piece is the fact of the matter, he wanted to position this directly looking towards two so-called white men that has their own statue in Times Square, which is Father Francis P. Duffy and George M. Cohan, who's made some very fabulous contributions to the New York City history. So this is in Duffy Square, named after Father Francis P. Duffy, who was a World War I chaplain, as well as a priest. And his contributions to why he's in Times Square was the fact of the matter that he was a minister for a lot of the military personnel during World War I. And George M. Cohan, who was a composer, playwright, and an actor on Broadway. So it makes sense why, especially George M. Cohan is going to be represented on the streets of Times Square. But it made it seem as if with her positioning towards these two so-called white men, this is about a black woman standing towards patriarchy and standing against white men, even though these white men probably don't even have a racist bone in their body, or at least their contributions was not related to anything racist, especially towards so-called black people. That's my only critique about this. But otherwise than that, I can't really call it. I don't think it's anything for people to get wrapped up and try to make a big deal about it. If anything, you should probably check out more artists in New York who made some contribution. Such as so this guy by the name of Eric Orr, who is an artist who was under the wing of Keith Haring back in the 1980s, a black artist who decided to create this comic character by the name of Rapping Max Robot. And therefore, you don't have to go ahead and talk about, oh, this is a black statue that's going against white people and patriarchy. This is literally a cartoon and a caricature of a character that he built himself. And he was around a graffiti artist or an artist like Keith Haring back in the 80s. But at the end of the day, it's whatever you make of the art, artist perception. If you like what you heard, make sure you hit that like and make sure you give me your thoughts in the comment section. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Peace.